So I was doom scrolling and I saw this pop up on my Twitter feed, and I noticed it was getting some traction of people being a little upsetty spaghetti. But it was asking for help on a YouTube thumbnails. Male VTubers are wrong versus why male VTubers fail. Great thumbnails, to be honest. I just think it has two completely different contexts. One is you are bad. The other one is, hey, let me help you. This is what you're doing wrong. So I think it just depends on the context of the video. But I noticed some people getting super defensive, and I feel like also being involved. So I'm going to watch the video for the context that I think a lot of people didn't do. I haven't watched it yet. Maybe they did and they're actually right. All right. So this is Hiokleo. I'm really good with words. That's their name. Yeah. Let's see what they have to say.
Advantage in the VTuber community.
Why are you
They're
still?
just
Hold
going
on.
about marketing.
Where were the first words?
Male VTubers are not at a disadvantage in the VTuber community. They're just going about marketing the wrong way. And I will be giving you my hot takes on why I think that is the case. Because
Okay, I'm going to pause a lot during this. So I just want to start out by saying that I hate the excuse that guys are like, only girls succeed. That's not true. That's not. There are reasons that females are more successful in the space, one of which being 85%, I would guess, of the VTubing community who consumes VTubing stuff is a dude. And I don't know if you've known this, dudes like hot anime girl more than hot anime boy. There are some people that like hot anime boy, but when it comes to visually appealing to what is the most of the audience, that's going to be something. Now, that's not to say males can't succeed. That's also not to say that only females or every female is going to succeed. That's just completely ridiculous to even think. But you need to understand what you're doing, um, and the kind of community that you are trying to get involved into.
honestly, I think a lot of you just don't have the information you need to succeed. And some guy online cried loud enough, making you feel like you're in a losing race. So buckle.
Okay, that's again, that goes back to the I hate this argument that people have. It seems to happen a lot. If you're failing because of you, not because somebody else. If somebody else is succeeding, those viewers are interested in that. They didn't take away the viewers. Those viewers were never yours to begin with.
Up because I'm not pulling any punches. I have 5 years of streaming under my belt as a non-female VTuber, which means
I should probably throw this out here because they're doing credentials. I've been streaming on Twitch for 12 years. I have a Twitch partnered channel. I've been involved in a bunch of different content creation spheres, from role playing, fucking GTA, Pokemon. I've been doing competitive stuff. I'm at least okay when it comes to understanding content creation communities. This is just a new channel and a new way for me to express myself.
I didn't get to pull the lady card everyone likes to assume is the reason why female VTubers get success. And you might just want to stay till the end of the video because I'll be teaching you how you can market yourself as a male VTuber. Oh, and Delulu Club members, you know what to expect at the end of the video.
I don't know what the fuck that means.
Keep in mind that I'll be generalizing throughout this entire video, and it's not because someone has a specific gender that they will fit these generalizations to a T. Okay? We good? Let's get cooking. So where did this belief really start? I know you've heard it before. Female VTubers have an easier time growing because of certain assets they have, but that
Big titties are cool. Small titties are also cool. Just feel like that needs to be established.
isn't actually the reason. To understand what's really going on, we need to go back to the basics of marketing. Having a niche. Often when people are talking about choosing a niche, it's because they want you to narrow down what you will be specializing in. However, what's really happening when you pick a niche is that you're picking an audience, and that audience will determine who you are creating for. So rolling back.
Yeah, this is totally true. Just in general, if you're interested in content creation, understanding what you're doing and how to get to your end goal is really important. When I started out, I was streaming Pokemon when you could only stream it if you had a special device. So I was one of 12 people that were able to stream it at the time. So your likelihood of getting clicked is way more likely because there's less competition. I knew the niche that I was going to be in, and I knew how to exploit it to get people to see what I'm doing. If you're trying to stream League of Legends, and you're doing absolutely nothing different, and you're a silver player with no pull or interesting thing happening, no one is going to find your content because it is so far down. So you want to find a niche so that you can kind of, I don't want to say, you kind of want to move yourself away from the big pond into a small pond so that you can build up.
Back to why female VTubers seem to do
I listen to
better
this
has a
song
lot
all
more
the
to do
time.
with the audience that they are creating for. And while yes, the way that you look can sway an audience, that isn't the full picture. So let's look at what's actually working in their favor. There's a few factors that women are
I do want to throw this out there. The what you look like doesn't matter. Completely true to an extent. You can be a webcamless, faceless VTuber. The only thing I will say is have a good microphone. If you sound like shit, people will not watch you. And that's just because it's hard to listen to you. You can be the funniest person in the world, but if I can't understand what you're saying and you sound like a Wendy's mic without it being like haha funny loud, I'm not going to watch your content.
doing that are helping their growth. The first is obviously their looks. Female VTuber models do incredibly well amongst all audiences, but what I'm talking about is their designs. You may have noticed that female models are often more embellished, especially compared to their male counterparts. I often like to compare female and male models to Genshin Impact characters versus Halo characters.
Oh,
We see a lot of variety overall with women, while men tend to be more simple and classic, which means men often have a harder time standing out. And without a clear
the artists specialize a lot more in female characters, and there is a lot more experimentation to build from. I feel like a lot of guys just do I'm going to be hot anime guy with an 8 pack, which is pretty fucking lame. I think that's more of a creativity thing, not so much the fault of a rigger or artist in general. I just think people don't know what to do. They're scared to step out.
aesthetic, it can be very difficult for somebody to give them a chance. Also, side note on my end, but have you ever noticed that male VTuber rigging is often very stiff? I'm not sure if it's because riggers fear making male VTubers feel too expressive, or that male models are just not cut the same way. Either way,
I think it comes down to just the natural features. There's a lot more interesting things that you can do with hair when it's long. Male outfits are a lot simpler, so they don't have the tufts and stuff that work. Again, I don't think that's the rigger's fault. I think it's just uh, people not finding a good way to express their character or not stepping outside of the norm.
that's something that's also hurting men in the VTubing community.
I don't
But
think
I
it's hurting
actually
men
don't know
though.
why that's so common. The second reason is that women are optimizing for their core audience. Remember when I told you about picking a niche? Well, female VTubers are doing that in more than one way, and sometimes accidentally. Let's start with what I consider common knowledge at this point. In the VTubing community, the average viewer is male and between the ages of 18 and 34. And
Yep.
most of those viewers will favor watching a female VTuber.
Yeah, I
This
mean,
is why male VTubers think they're at a disadvantage. But I will show you later how you could be using that to your advantage. So women are doing well because men are watching them. Great. But that's not the whole story. Female VTubers are optimizing what games they're playing and where they are playing them. Reading through articles upon articles of social media marketing, I read that men and women do not consume their content in the same spaces. Women are more likely to watch VTubers on TikTok or YouTube, while men are more likely to watch them on Twitch or Kick or Blue Twitch. But it's not just that. Women are looking for content creators that are creating vibes like cottagecore, fantasy, dark, and a lot of them watch IRL content, art, and cozy games. On the other side of the spectrum, men are searching for gaming and esports. You see what I'm getting at? Female VTubers are picking which platform they want to perform on while picking content their audience will enjoy, while male VTubers are following the VTuber trend of streaming on Twitch. When they
I mean, it's not wrong, right? Like, there's data to back that up. I think that that's a really simplified way of looking at it. I don't think men are failing because they're streaming on Twitch. I don't think that's accurate at all. I think that the problem is they're just streaming on Twitch and expecting to grow because they're live, which you could argue just doesn't happen in general. Yeah, I don't know. I may have to come back to that one. Like, I kind of get what they're saying. I just think that there's more to it than that simple of girls don't watch Twitch. How about instead of thinking that a male has to have a female audience, The male should be focused on creating content that a male would still find interesting on Twitch. And you get what I'm saying? Like, just because you're a guy doesn't mean that you have to have an exclusively female audience that is available on YouTube and TikTok. That's just not the right way to look at it, unless that's your thing. If you want to be like the community boyfriend, then I guess I don't know. That one, I mean, that's not something that like makes me upset to hear. I just think that there's more to it.
They could be choosing different options where they could be hitting their demographic easier. Is that making any sense? Awesome. So with this information, how
That's what I was saying, by the way. Your demographic doesn't have to be female. If you're a male, you don't have to be trying to get female audience. You can get male audience. You just need to be smart and understand that most of the males are looking for something specific that you don't fill that void. So you need to find your own niche to fill, which is what she said at the start of the video.
can male VTubers thrive? By reverse engineering how female VTubers find success. Yeah, I know it sounds complicated, but I got it all written down for you. So listen up. Let's start with finding your demographic. But I hear you. Hio, you just told me that most VTuber viewers are men and they want to watch women. Yes, I know, but that actually gives you two opportunities. The first road you could take is becoming a streamer for men. Male viewers are often looking for interactivity, gaming, and sick energy. And while everyone is different, obviously, you could be picking stream games where the audience is mostly men.
Please don't stream one of those major games in the very beginning expecting it to work. Make content on them first. Don't just go live and stream. For the love of everything, don't just start streaming and expect to find success that way. Nobody cares about you when you start out, so give them a reason to care about you.
That ya boys are usually swatting in are first-person shooters, battle royales, anything competitive, and
Hold on. Hold on.
categories that ya boys are usually swatting in are first-person shooters, battle royale.
Overwatch isn't a battle royale. Okay, sorry. It just bothered. Oh, I punched my microphone. Not a battle royale.
Anything competitive, and I think horror. And male viewers are typically on Twitch or Kick. Personally, as someone who has a 50% male audience, I found out that they love nerding out about things that I also enjoy, like horror franchises or Marvel. So don't think that because you're a guy, you can't build a fun community. Because fun fact, most successful streamers on Twitch and Kick are men. The second road that you could take.
Yeah, that's something completely true. There are a lot of female creators that do really good until they hit like the 100, 200 viewer, but it's really, really hard to break past that as a female content creator. Just because I hate to say it, I think a lot of people don't take them serious in the space, which is ridiculous. Some of the most talented creators that I know and have seen are female, but for some reason they get held back by, I guess it could be the streaming community as a whole. I don't really know. That's a really complicated issue. But yeah,
Is becoming a streamer for women. A lot of male VTubers have chosen this route and shine in very different ways. So I'll show you a few examples later, but let's get this out of the way first. If you want to create for women, your brand needs to appeal to that audience. But what does that mean? You have no idea how large my grin is right now, knowing all the ladies that are watching this, they're about to give me a high five for taking one for the team. But stick with me here. Have you ever heard of the dating game called Love in Deep Space? No? Good. Go look it up. I'll wait. Okay, yeah, so you get it, right?
I've not seen Love. I've seen bits and pieces of it. I know what it is. I know that the world got mad about some werewolf guy and then they deleted him. And I know that there were sexy cosplayer dudes that people could get in line with to meet at a convention. I think it was Anime Expo. That might be right. I don't really know more about it. Sorry.
Women love an aesthetic and a vibe. A big thing you see with otome games are archetypes. FYI, otome games is what we call dating simulators for women. Okay, just so you know. And as a male VTuber, you could choose to be one of those archetypes. Not necessarily in personality, unless you wanted to, but definitely in looks. You see this a lot in the male VTuber sphere, and I'm about to give you a few examples. Shoto is a soft, easily flustered rogue. He allows his audience to draw him in soft situations, calling in female artists. He's also allowed people shipping him with his guy friends, attracting yaoi fans. Shia Bun, on the other hand, is a hunk that plays the sassy, promiscuous rabbit. He sings and focuses on funny and horror content, but due to his branding, he often attracts women and men. And then we have Basil Wolf, a strong, stinky werewolf man that created his own world. He focuses on art and so does his community. His character is appealing to the female gaze, but he's funny and still brands himself authentically to who he is. You see, while all of these male VTubers branded themselves differently, they all succeeded in the fields they are in, and none of them branded themselves in a way that they lost who they really are, which is what I would hope all male VTubers would do, even when trying to appeal to a specific audience. Now let's get to the fun stuff. You'll want to brand yourself coherently. I don't think I need to say much here. I think you understand that branding is a balancing act between what you love and what your audience likes. So if you're looking for tips on how to come up with a good design, here is what I would suggest. If you want to go
Okay, sorry, I didn't pause like at all there. I think that's all just really good info. There's people that are successful. I just think that it's a lot easier to pretend that people aren't successful because then it fits your narrative of the world hates me, I'm bad. Or you know what I mean? It's unfair when that's just not true. There's a ton of really successful people doing community. It's just a lot easier to, how can I say this nicely? It is a lot easier to play the victim than to self-reflect. Sorry if that's hard to hear. Sorry. Not really sorry. You should just understand that. Also, yes, branding is very important. Recognize your brand, stick to your brand, but make sure that you aren't pretending to be somebody else. I know they talked about that a little bit where they're like, you could be one of the people from Love and Deep Space. If you're not going to put in the time to understand what that means, just don't do it. Please don't. The whole fake it till you make it is true to an extent, but if it's just so out of your normal comfort bubble, it's going to sound really robotic, and that's dumb. Don't do that.
the male audience route, I highly recommend looking up video games or movies specifically aimed towards men to create your VTuber design. If you want to appeal to women, look up games like Genshin Impact or Love and Deep Space. But regardless which path you choose, I highly recommend going over a design with a character designer. They will be able to make something coherent for you, especially if you don't feel comfortable with coming up with something on your own. The next step, in my opinion, is finding an artist that can actually bring your character to life. When I was looking for a VTuber artist, I specifically wanted somebody who could draw something androgynous. So find someone that can actually pull off pretty boys in their style, or some
VGen's amazing. Please check out VGen. There's a lot of awesome artists on there. Also, just Twitter in general. Please, for the love of God, don't just ask for, oh, I need a commission on Twitter, because 90% of those are going to be bots or AI. So be smart. Please don't use AI to come up with your reference. Make a mood board. Find characters that you like, stick them together, and then send that to an artist who can take your vomit of references into a beautiful cake at the end that you and your community can eat your VTuber cake.
someone that can draw mecha if that's what you're aiming for. And please, I beg, find a rigger that won't make you look stiff. And finally, I need you to
This goes back to character design. Okay, listen, if you're just a fucking normal anime dude wearing a suit jacket and a tie, there's nothing that you can move. There's limited hairstyles for guys. Come up with something cool. Have a big floppy hat. Big floppy hats can move. Have a pet. Have fucking jewelry. Just things look rigid because they don't have anything that moves. You can't just give jiggle physics to a fucking shoulder. Make your design cool, and there's also goes into having a good silhouette. I don't know if you noticed this character that they have has an amazing silhouette, especially if you watch the expressiveness on the ears of their character. It works really well. If you're just a basic anime dude, I'm sorry, your ears aren't going to move.
stop getting lazy on your social media. I know being a creator is a lot, but no matter how good you look or how good at a game you are, nothing will halt your growth more than poor social media habits. I have a whole playlist for you to go through if you're interested on seeing how you can grow as a small creator online. But if you want a specific video on a specific topic, let me know in the comments. And if what's stopping you from showing up consistently is you being forgetful, I'm neurospicy myself. I get it. I have been using this tool called B-Plan. Now, they're not sponsoring this video, but I'm an ambassador.
They're not sponsoring it. Squints. No, I'm just kidding. It's fine. I don't know what
And
the
I
stat is.
use their app religiously. You can draft posts, schedule them out, and leave it. You can
Oh, I
connect
hate
all your socials
scheduling
on
posts.
one
I think you should
account for
just.
free,
I
and
think you should
Bplan
just
shows
upload
you the
them.
best posting times for
You
you.
don't need to
It has
schedule
been
everything.
my secret tool for posting 3 times a day on Twitter.
What the fuck are you posting 3 times a day for? That's insane. Holy shit. Okay, sorry.
4 months. And with a premium plan, you can have access to analytics. Yes, even for your Twitter. So you can skip the Twitter premium, which is arguably even more expensive than Bplan. Again, this is not a sponsor, but I do think the scheduling tool will be really useful for those who are busy and need to post consistently. Hopefully now you understand that male VTubers are not at a disadvantage. It's a rumor created by people who don't actually understand how to promote themselves. There are just as many female VTubers that are struggling to grow out there, simply because they haven't found their audience yet. But if you don't agree with me, feel free to drop your opinion in the comments. Or you can come debate me directly on my Twitch. And before you go, if you like this video, please subscribe. I'm spilling the tea on how I'm growing as a small content creator right now, because I want everybody to
Fine, I'll even
succeed in
leave a
content
like.
creation, especially if it's their dream. So go beat the Lulu and show this community who you really are. Monster out!
Goodbye. Overall, I don't understand why people are mad. Nothing they said was offensive, or I actually think, granted, it's going to make people click on it, but I think the titles and the thumbnails that they came up with just hit an itch of rage baiting before the person even watched the video, because they're going to come in hot, they're going to come in pissed off. But yeah, I thought it was a great video. It's true. There's a lot of different things that males are doing wrong, but I said it earlier, the mindset of so and so female VTubers live, she has 250 viewers, she's the reason I don't have 20 viewers. When the reality is, those 250 viewers, if they were just an average consumer, if you look at it that way, they were never searching to buy the thing that you're selling, right? Think of it as like, fucking female VTubers are vegan, you're a rib place. Just because the vegan place is doing successful doesn't mean if the vegan place closed that you're gonna get those consumers to come to your place. They're vegan. They don't want your fucking ribs. Okay. Thanks for hanging out. Great video. I'll link it down below. If you guys have any questions, you want to debate me on stuff, feel free. I have my model being made next month, so no more PNG tuber, and I should be back for that. We're gonna be a cute little bunny. I'll see you guys in the next one.